Welcome to another edition of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. Eric Gross, your host, along with Superintendent of Schools Anthony DiCarlo. And Anthony, good seeing you again.
Same here, Eric.
School days, before you know it, will be here, a couple of weeks away. We're standing outside of Mahopac High School right now, and you want to give our viewers a little lesson as to how the young ladies and gentlemen are going to be getting off the bus and where they're going to go.
Yeah, so as I mentioned in our opening spotlight, Eric, we're going to try to get to every building and explain about what that new normal and social distancing looks like. So as you know, in the morning, usually what happens is the buses pull up here right in front and everybody comes in the front door. Well, that's not going to happen this year. We're going to have students going. There'll be some buses that are going to go down here and go through the entranceway here. Some buses will come here and stop, and we'll go through the entranceway this way, and then others will go up this way and go through the entranceway on the side. So what we're trying to do is again, through social distancing, get the kids in the buildings going into certain intervals so they're not all coming together. And that's going to be a real key, especially at the middle school and here at the high school. And when we go inside, you'll see that we're trying to make sure that there's a flow of traffic in hallways, and as we get into the cafeterias, that's going to look differently. We're trying to the best of our ability in a high school, which is not easier because, as you know, it's not pure. K to 8, we can socially distant kids. We can have them cohorts, and the teachers can rotate around. High school, you can't, because you can have a freshman in a class with a junior or a senior if it's an elective or another course. So as we go through today, you'll see kind of where we're trying to the best of our ability have the flow kind of go in a mechanism and way that makes sense, and where the kids are, as much as we can, socially distancing them.
Now, will you letters be sent out to the students?
Yeah, so there'll be a whole packet of each building about what it's going to look like, what the AM drop-offs will look like, what the PM pickups will look like, what hallways will look like, what the cafeterias will look like, and then what those protocols are going to be. That's the work. Once we get the blue and gold group set up over the next week and a half, those kind of important informational packets will be going home via email to parents.
Now, what about students who are enrolled in BOCES programs? A lot of them are a very integral program here. What happens to them?
Just like normal. BOCES is going to be running. The kids will either go in their AM or PM sessions, depending on what the schedule may look like. There'll be pickoffs and drop-offs and pickups for that. So nothing's going to change with BOCES. Those programs will be offered, and students who enroll with them will be able to take part in the program.
Shall we take a mosey on inside?
Yes, we should.
Let's do that right here on Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. We're in the high school vestibule now, and Anthony, we look over here, plexiglass, unbelievable.
Yeah, and you're going to, as we get ready for the opening, you're going to see some of this in all of our office areas with secretaries and some of those people who have, traffic more or less. Although the traffic, it's not going to be anywhere where it used to be, because nobody's coming into the building, Eric, unless for some reason it's an emergency and you have to pick your child up because he or she is sick or, God forbid, had some kind of an injury. Everything will be done virtually. So if you have to set up a meeting, whether it's with the principal, assistant principal, or teacher, or teams of teachers, you'll set up virtual meetings. The days of dropping off lunches or instruments, anything like that, those days are done. For the short term, you cannot come into the building, obviously because of COVID and because of the safety and health and well-being of each other. Also, when we get into the office areas, the days of teachers coming down and talking and just chatting, those are done.
We're schmoozing.
Yeah, schmoozing, right. What you will do is just send out an email if you have a question that you need to have answered. Even with the kids, there should be no interaction unless for some reason they have to come to see their guidance counselor or a vice principal. There'll be certain designated time that they can come down. They'll work that out, so we make sure that we are mitigating as much interaction as possible.
And again, you, the board, the administration, not being mean-spirited. This is just for safety.
Yeah, and that's just it. And we have learned through technology, Eric, that we can have these virtual meetings. We have virtual board meetings. We're doing virtual meetings every single day with our staffs, with our principals, leadership meetings. Everything's done virtually. Same thing with parents. We're not saying that there's going to be a stopping of communication and problem solving. No, but we're just going to have to do it in a different modality, which will have to be remote. But this type of thing where we have people coming and going, that's not happening. Even if we have contractors that are coming in, they're going to have their temperatures taken. We're going to log them in. So we know, God forbid, if something were to happen, we have that contact tracing so that we can make sure that we do the best that we possibly can.
Where to next, boss?
We're going to tour the building and kind of show a little bit about what some of these things are going to look like as far as mitigation goes at Mahopac High School.
Let's go for it. In the Mahopac High School gym, which by the way looks fantastic, the custodians, the maintenance people did a great job this summer redoing the floors. It looks wonderful. But in gym classes this year, students will be not 6 feet apart, but 12 feet apart. Anthony, hello, my friend.
How are you, Eric?
We're going to break the rules a little bit now and sneak over, but 12 feet apart.
Yeah, and again, we have to remember something, but it's half the class, right? Because the way that we're doing the blue and gold. So we're going to be able to use both the old gym, which we're in now, and the new gym, okay, when the days are either really, really hot or, of course, it's raining or snowing. We want to get outside as much as possible, and we have plenty of room to be able to do that. So these are some of the things that are the nuances that are going to be different. And again, for that new normal, temporarily, while we're dealing with the COVID pandemic. So what we want, of course, is kids to still get exercise because we know it's important. But again, we have to do it in a manner that is safe, in a manner that, you know, the kids understand. And again, it's going to be different than we've ever had before, but we're going to work through it. And I'm sure the gym teachers in our athletic department will make the best of a very difficult situation.
We have to be positive about this.
Yeah, we do. And here's the other thing. And I mentioned this. We're filming this, and I believe it's October 10th. And we still don't have an answer about sports. Although the governor last week talked about schools coming back in person, there was no mention about sports. So as of now, we're still on that September 21st start date. We have not heard anything as of yet. We're waiting to hear. I just hope between you and I, Eric, the decision is made. I do not want to see what happened last time with our student athletes waiting every 2 weeks and 2 weeks. Either we're going to have it in the fall. If not, if we're going to do it in January to June, then let's say it so that we can start to plan about it. But that's where we're at as of now. This is what phys ed classes will look like. Please, you have to come dressed. You can't use locker rooms. That day that you have gym, you have to have either sweats or, you know, your shorts and sneakers that day. The days of going in, everybody changing, coming out for the short term are not going to happen. So we please ask that you come dressed and ready to go for gym. That's throughout. That's K to 12. That's not just the high school. That's a really important point. On gym days, make sure you are dressed and ready to go.
Fashion goes out the window, huh?
It does. I mean, that's the reality of what we're doing. But what's important, Eric, is that the state has really been clear. You are expected to be in school when you're in school and remote learning when you're remote learning. They are really making sure we're cracking down on absenteeism. It's something that it's going to be monitored. You're expected to be remotely when you're supposed to be on remotely and be in school when you're supposed to be in school. That's a non-negotiable.
Let's visit the cafeteria and the library at Mahopac High. Have you ever heard of classroom-style eating? That's the way it's going to look when it comes to lunchtime this school year.
Yeah, so Eric, in order to meet the guidelines of safety, and we've had to repurpose the cafeteria. There's no more of the tables and sitting, you know, face to face to one another. They're going to be eating at tables, socially distanced, as you can see. Meals will be prepackaged. You're going to go in, you're going to get your lunch. It'll be kind of packaged together. You take it, and you come out, and you go to your desk. We're also doing the same in our library, which we'll go up to later on and show you what that's going to look like. So both the cafeteria and the library will be used for cafeterias during the course of this year. Now remember, it's not the full amount of kids, it's half the amount because we're going with blue and gold days, but this is what it's actually going to look like.
Packaged meals, will they be hot meals, sandwiches, things like that?
But it's not going to be where you get a la carte.
Yeah.
You cannot be handling things back and forth. So it'll be preset, packaged, and then you'll go in. If you want this, you pick it up, you pay, and you're out.
But kids can still bring their lunch from home.
Yes, of course, you can bring your lunch from home. Yeah, that's a definite. You can do that. Now, also, what's interesting, Eric, is that, you know, we want to make sure that we're doing this, and that's why I'm saying these transition, and I need all the parents to understand this. It's not going to be perfect the first couple of weeks. This is all new to everybody. So whether you're in elementary school, middle, or high school, there's going to be glitches, there's going to be bumps. As I mentioned in our first spotlight, we have to work together. Doesn't make any sense to be casting aspersions on anybody. We're learning. And I really need the kids to be patient as well as, I know the parents will be, as we, you know, kind of assimilate to what this new normal is going to look like in schools.
Again, who would have ever thunk?
No, I know, but we know what? Again, if we adhere to what we need to do, and you can see, we're hoping that we can stay at least hybrid for as long as we can. Hopefully, something happens with a vaccine and whatever, and then maybe, God willing, the end of half of the year, maybe we can all be back together. But we have to do what we have to do first.
And we have to think positively.
Correct. You have to. Exactly. Okay. You're welcome.
Should we check out the library?
Yeah, we're going to go to some hallways, so we'll show a little bit about what that's going to look like. We'll go up to the library, and then we'll talk about the way things are going to look like in the afternoon when we leave.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Let's do it right here. Walking through the hallways at Mahopac High are also going to be interesting this year. Certain hallways one way, certain hallways another way, single file.
Yeah, so, and again, I mentioned this in the beginning. The high school is the most unique because of the fact that kids are in multi-graded classes. So it's not that easy for us to put kids in a class all day and have teachers rotating. So kids are going to have to move in the building. But what will happen, for example, now is there'll be arrows here. This will be one way going this way and then arrows coming up. So it'll be single file. So as you're walking behind me, Eric, I'm walking this way, and there'll be kids along the sides of the lockers. We'll be walking that way. So you can see there's plenty of room between. There should not be where you're here, I'm here, and then somebody's there walking 3 and 4 across. That's not going to work out. And that's why, again, those first couple of days of school are so important. We're actually going to come out and model it for the kids. Even though they're freshmen to seniors, we have to model for them because, guys and gals, you want to stay in school and be together at least half the time with our goal of getting everybody back, you have to adhere to these things. That's really, really important because otherwise it's not going to work.
No Georgia fiascos in Mahopac.
No, well, and again, we have to understand something, and that's where, and you know this, Eric, every single time we do this, every one of my updates talks about, please start talking to your students, your children now about following the rules that the district is laying out because we want them to be able to stay in. Because if it's going to be ignored and they're not going to wear their masks and they're not going to follow the arrows and they're not going to do what needs to be done, then we're going to be back on remote and then we have nobody to blame but ourselves. And I'm confident that the Mahopac community and parents understand that. In my heart of hearts, I know the kids understand that too, and we're really going to be emphasizing that because this is going to be really important for us to be able to stay in school and at least be together half of the week as we go through.
As Anthony says, the new Mahopac way.
Yeah, it is the new way, hopefully a very temporarily new way.
Library, let's check it out.
Yes, thank you.
Well, joining us in the library, Anthony, is Matt Lawrence, the principal of Mahopac High. The library, the cafeteria library.
Yeah, so as you saw before, we were just down in the cafeteria. And one of the reasons why we're using, of course, the cafeteria, but we have desks and we're going to be using up here, it's air conditioned. And one of the most important things, as we know, during the course of the school year, especially when it comes to eating, we want the kids to be as comfortable as they can, and we want that flow of air. So this is going to be a second designated space for lunches. Dr. Lawrence is working closely with our assistant superintendent, Sandra Cloesi, and Aramart, because of course we're going to have the lunches brought up here and then the kids served here. But Dr. Lawrence and his team are really doing a good job on trying to look at those spaces within Mahopac High School that we can use to follow the guidance as to what it's going to look like under the COVID pandemic.
Your hair got a little grayer since we last saw you on
Thanks, Eric.
high school graduation.
I can't think of why that might have happened. I mean, really.
It's been some summer.
It's been some summer. It's been some spring. It's been some summer. Yep.
You, your staff, maintenance people, administrators, teachers are just bending over backwards to make this work.
Well, and it's really been no different since, my first day here. I've always found the staff here to be amazingly dedicated, focused on student safety, focused on student comfort, focused on student instruction. So now these are schools done a little bit differently lately, but that's still our primary focus, to obviously keep kids safe and keep them comfortable and provide them with the best instruction and programs as possible.
And as Anthony said, with the cafeteria, downstairs, upstairs, it's going to work.
It's going to work, so we looked at a whole bunch of different models, because obviously we can't fit 350 students in the cafeteria anymore, socially distanced, so we're cutting those numbers in half. So we really needed a location where we can fit the other half of the students at the same time. We didn't want to spread them across empty classrooms. We wanted to keep them consolidated with the ultimate plan of having the food available here, so they don't have to go to the cafeteria and come back here. So the students on their schedule for lunch will either say cafeteria or library. And then they report here to the socially distanced area. Masks on, just like when you go to a restaurant, until you get your food. You get your food, you sit down, you take your mask off, you eat your food, and then when you go to leave, you have to put your mask back on, and any time in the common areas of the school.
You know, Anthony, there is so much going on to get education rolling for this new school year in Putnam County, in Mahopac, around the United States, New York State. But yet, unless parents instill in their children, and we're just repeating this over and over again, parents must instill in their kids the social distance.
Yeah, there's no question. And one of the other big issues that's come up, and Dr. Lawrence mentioned it, that's a concern, is about the testing and contact tracing. Because as we know, the governor this past Friday talked about schools needing to work closely with their Department of Health. And we're very fortunate here in Putnam County that we have 6 school districts. We're not vast like Westchester is. Right. And we're working with the Putnam County Department of Health to talk about what that testing would look like through them, and then what contact tracing would look like. And as we develop those norms with the Department of Health and the school districts in Putnam, we'll be embedding that in our plan so that parents will know and staff will know if somebody tests positive, what are the precautions that we're following, our contact with the DOH, and then the Department of Health will tell us about shutting the building down, doing their contact tracing, and depending on that specific episode, whether or not we're closed for an extended amount of days or we're closed for 14 days, because there's a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation that's out there that automatically you have to be closed for 14 days in the whole district. That's not true. It would be specific to the building. It would also have to do with siblings. It might have to do with a staff member. And then once all of those aspects are looked at by the DOH, of course, we provide them with specific information, then the DOH will determine what length of time we need to be closed, either as a building or as a district. I know that's now one of the number one concerns out there. What if somebody tests positive? And we will have all that information out within the next couple of weeks as we are developing that with the Department of Health in Putnam County.
And you're having meetings with the DOH, too.
Yeah, we've been very lucky here. We've been meeting with the DOH since the pandemic started. Mm-hmm. Every Monday, myself, Frank Guglieri from Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES, and the superintendents meet with Shanna Siegel, and we go through everything. So we are really working again now based on the new guidance that the governor brought up on Friday, which, we're not testing. We don't test. Right. That's not our job, right? We have HIPAA laws and other things. We don't test. We can't contact trace either, but the DOH can do that. So it's us working together, because I know, Eric, that's a real big issue and concern now, not only for parents, but for our unions. If something were to happen, what will happen then? And that's what we're going to be exploring with them in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, where do you want to go to now? So check out a classroom?
Yeah, I think we have a model classroom set up if you want to take a look.
Now let's check out the restrooms as well.
Okay, if you want, sure.
Right here. We'll be right back. Typical classroom at Mahopac High School, 13 desks.
Yeah, this is what the 2021 school year will look like. Again, Dr. Lawrence and his team have gone around to the classrooms, look at square footage and seeing what the possible numbers are. And on average, I think Dr. Lawrence will tell you it's around 13. It's half the kids. The classrooms are going to look this way. The windows will be open for ventilation during the course of most of the year, of course, if it's cold or, God forbid, if it's storming. But again, we're going to try the best that we possibly can do. And each and every day is going to be a new day.
Have you been meeting with teachers at all when it comes to this new way of teaching?
Well, good question, Eric. So obviously, yes, right? And this all started back in March, April, right? Where fortunately, being a district very strongly based in Google, all of our students having Chromebooks, we were really able to hit the ground running. And then we found just getting better and better and better during the last school year, right? So this summer, Southern Westchester BOCES has put out some outstanding PD that I know a lot of the high school teachers registered for, all focused on virtual education, increasing the virtual level of instruction, right? So, yeah, the answer would be yes. And the teachers have been great in terms of signing up for that PD even over the summertime.
You mentioned the blue and the gold. Blue one day, gold another.
So it's going to be, I believe it's blue on Monday, Tuesday, gold on Thursday, Friday, and I might have that wrong, but it would be flipped. But so the point of the matter is that Monday, Tuesday will be assigned days for that color. Thursday, Friday, the other color, and then the Wednesdays will alternate. So every other week, you'll be in school 3 days a week, and then out remote twice or reversed. Well, you'll have 3 days remote and in school twice. So that's the way we're doing it. And we're doing it, and again, I want to thank all the leadership teams here at MAYAPAC. It's a lot of work because what we're trying to do, Eric, is get it so that kids and families are together. So if you're my older brother and you're in high school and I'm in 3rd grade, we're going to be home together so you can help out and kind of with childcare. So that takes time to do. And then sometimes it's not pure and we have to move kids around. So that's the work that the leadership teams are doing right now. So probably the middle of next week, which will be probably August 18th or 19th, you'll be getting home those blue and gold assignments. And then shortly thereafter, you'll be getting your bus run. So we're working hard.
And teachers will be instructing both virtually and in class at the same time.
Correct, yes. But what happens with this, and I want people to understand, there's going to be times as a teacher where he or she will be instructing both in person and remotely, maybe for the first 20 minutes and giving an intro to a class, but then the kids are going to go off on their own, either individually in group remotely or even here doing some of that work. So there's going to be far more that remote one-to-one interaction, but that's not to say that you're going to be on and sitting in front of a computer for 6.5 hours a day listening to somebody speaking at you. That's not the way it's going to operate. And I think that's a little bit of a misnomer. There'll be more one-to-one, but there are going to be times when the kids are going to be going off working either individually on a project or with groups during the course of the school year. And that's what teachers do normally.
Matt, you want to add anything?
I will, yeah, just to piggyback off of what Mr. DiCarlo just said. So in terms of virtual instruction and in-person instruction all happening at the same time, one of the things that I'll be talking to our teachers about is kind of reimagining our group work that we would normally do in class, because we're very big on student-to-student engagement here, and pair the students up in groups, but 2 of your group members will be present and the other 2 will be remote, right? So that way, those who are present are working with those who are remote, right? And they're interacting with each other and helping each other through the content, right? So they will both benefit from the in-person instruction, even at home, right? Because you and Auntie be home, myself and Stas will be in school. We're all working together as a group of 4, getting each other through the content. So we're doing our best in this situation to maintain some of our really strong instructional practices, and that's an example of it.
Okay. Sounds complicated.
Yeah, and it's also going to be a little bit different out there beginning, the school year. We're used to back to school nights. Yes. Back to school nights are going to be virtually. So you'll be able to see and get an understanding of what the curriculum is going to look like and who your teacher is, but it'll be in a very virtual mode.
Okay. Is it time to go to the little boys' room?
Yeah, let's go check it out and see what the bathrooms will look like a little bit differently than they normally do.
Let's do it. Well, even changes in the bathrooms at MAYAPAC High.
Yeah, again, because of social distancing and the norms, what is going to wind up happening, Eric, is this won't be taken offline and this won't be taken offline. So you'll have every other. The same thing where Dr. Lawrence is, that middle sink will be taken out. So you'll have enough space between. And then where Stas is, these blowers have to come out. And these will be hand towels. Now the stalls are okay because you have the dividers. So although we're in the boys' locker room right now, or actually bathroom I should say, for the most part what will happen in the girls is if they have these, they'll be taken out. And if they are close in proximity, the same thing. So again, every aspect of the building when it comes to the social distancing and what we need to do, we're going to do. And we're going to try to make sure that we do it in a manner, again, explain to the kids the why behind it, but it's so very, very important. Now, what's really important, everybody out there, is, and Dr. Lawrence and I have been working with, in this case, John Russell, but throughout the district and with Mike Shore, there's going to be more custodians, men and women, on during the school day because of the amount of times everything has to be cleaned. So after every period, there'll be people coming in, custodians, and wiping everything down, the high-touch areas, and then every night, everything will be disinfected on a continual basis. So we know the bodice of the cleaning will be done during the school day, then once everybody's out. And for the short term, Eric, once school's over, school's over. Extracurricular activities and the like, at least for September, are going to be non-existent until we see the guidance from the state. But for right now, we're going to be making sure that most of our workers are on during the day, cleaning everything, and then at night we're going to do our big disinfecting, and then the next day starts over.
District-wide, when it comes to the restrooms, where custodians
This is the
constantly...
same thing's going to happen throughout the district. I'm giving you an example here, but all the bathrooms that are like this, whether it's elementary or middle, the same thing will be happening. And then what's going to happen, Eric, is behind each door, after each custodian is finished, they will, put down the time and that they were in here so that we know, and we have these journals and logs so that we can, make sure that things are being done in the manner in which they should be being done.
Okay. Restrooms, spick and span in the Mahopac district. We talk about branding in the Mahopac School District and Mahopac High. The hallways have taken on this new aura of beauty, professional job. Tell us about it.
Can you see my smile?
I see.
Yeah. So just a little bit about branding first. It's something that's very near and dear to my heart as a school leader. My philosophy is very centered on team, very centered on family, togetherness. And I believe that branding kind of brings all of that under one umbrella, right? And it's a constant reminder of who we are and what we're about. So last year, we were able to put that beautiful logo on the front of the school building and on the back of the school building. And this year, I worked with our yearbook company, Life Touch, in conjunction with Waterboy Branding Services out of Arizona, I believe, to design specific areas of new branding. And as you can take a look around, our emblem is everywhere. One of the things that I noticed when I first came to Mahopac, and being a local resident, right, growing up around here, I know the pride behind Mahopac and the Mahopac culture. And I noticed that the school was kind of devoid of that culture, right? Wasn't enough Mahopac around, not enough of our emblem around, our logo around. So bit by bit, we've been adding to have this constant reminder of who we are and what we stand for.
What a great philosophy.
Yeah, and it's a tribute to Dr. Lawrence and his team. And one of the things when I was hired here was to bring Mahopac back to where it was, 15, 20 years ago. And one of the things that we talked about was getting us to have a presence, both social media and, out and about, also, but letting people understand that we are prideful of who we are. My first year we got here, we got the electronic signs that are outside, and as Matt said, every year we keep adding. We don't want to stay stagnant, and this is part and parcel. And the sad part about it is the kids haven't even enjoyed this yet. So we're really looking at September. Most of them haven't seen this. Some did at graduation, but a lot didn't, so I don't even know about it. They'll see the outside, and we'll show you the outside and what that looks like. And then, again, we put two beautiful signs, and actually all through the high school, because Matt talks about branding and the great work that we're doing, recognized by U.S. News and World Report as a top high school, as well as the state of New York. We've branded that throughout the high school. So, part of who we are in the Mahopac way is sharing about the great things that we do, not only with ourselves, but with the entire community. And as you know, Eric, a number of weeks ago, the New York Times did an expose in the real estate section about Mahopac, this untouched, beautiful community. And it really talks about how important we are as a community, but most importantly, the schools. And this is what we're doing. We're not staying stagnant. We have a bond. We're in that first initial phase that we're finishing up. Next year, in the summer of 21, this whole high school is going to be reconstituted and a lot of different things going on. And then after that will be the elementary. So this community has made an investment. You're starting to see what the investment is. And people want to come in here now to move into Mahopac and live in Mahopac because of its schools, its community, its strong family-based culture and who we are. And that's a testament to a lot of the work that Dr. Lawrence and his team is doing, but all the leadership teams in all the buildings.
Okay. Let's go out.
You want to see outside?
Let's check it outside right now. Well, outside Mahopac High, where more branding is taking place, it's just magnificent.
It really is. It's breathtaking, actually. And like Mr. DiCarlo said, all this was done during the closure, so our kids really haven't gotten a chance to enjoy it yet. But you can see with the branding company that we've been working with, we've done what they call door wraps, right? So we've wrapped all the doors with our beautiful logo. We did the windows over here above the new gym, windows over here, and the locker room door leading out as the first phase. In addition to that, the hallway of champions, and then the back main entrance also has branding and window wraps as well.
Something to be proud of, Anthony.
Yeah, very much so, because at the end of the day, like Matt said, it gives the kids a feeling of this is a special place, this is who we are, we're Mayapack proud, we're the pack, and it really goes a long way to saying that we care about you. We're going to continue to add every single year different things that make this a special high school and a special school district.
We don't know about athletics taking place this year, the upcoming school year, but new athletic lights are on the field.
Yeah, so as part of that initial phase, there was the roofing projects on all the buildings, and then, of course, the new lights that are there that are incredible because they're so powerful, and yet they're very laser-like on the football field. They actually, believe it or not, we can actually do some kind of like a light show with them, like a blue and a gold that we were told we can do. So we're excited about it, and hopefully willing, whether it's this fall or this spring, we're going to get our student athletes out there to be able to play on that field.
So that's a look at Mayapack High School in the beginning of the 2021 school year. For Matt Lawrence, principal of Mayapack High, Superintendent Anthony DiCarlo, I'm Eric Gross. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back with another edition right here on Spotlight on Mayapack Schools. Bye-bye now.
For more information, please visit our website, www.mayapack.k12.ny.us.